Boy, we do have a lot to talk about, including that Trump fine, which we're going to get to in just a moment. But good to be with you. I'm Katy Tur.
I'm Katy Tur. Good to be back with you for another hour. I'm Katy Tur. No electrical switch will be turned on, no water hydrant will be opened, and no fuel truck will enter Gaza until the Israeli hostages captured by Hamas are released. I want to start first with what is pressing in the House right now, and that is this looming government shutdown. Are you ready and willing to turn the lights off to get what you want?
So if the Senate and the White House say they don't want any changes, that would be them saying no, not us.
But why not go through with a bipartisan compromise on immigration, which people have been advocating for, and people in New York, by the way, are advocating for that. That's what Mayor Adams wants. He wants a compromise between both parties on immigration reform. That's what Chicago wants. That's what they're saying. They're not saying take what the hardliners in the Republican Party want and just force that upon everybody. They're saying that both parties need to come together to find a compromise on this. Why not do it that way? Isn't government supposed to be a compromise between everybody, not just a force through of what one party wants? You don't like that when the Democrats do it.
Well, I would tell you right now, that's exactly what the Democrats are doing. When Joe Biden became president,
I just said. You don't like it.
Hold on, Katy.
Don't you think there should be a compromise?
Let me answer your question, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. The current situation on the southern border is very clear. Don't break the border and then tell me now you have to go negotiate immigration policy.
No.
We can talk about
immigration policy.
We can talk about immigration policy all we want.
It's not just Joe Biden. This has been on the table for multiple decades.
Katy, don't do that. That gives you the dynamics for both sides to trust each other in a negotiation about immigration reform.
Bipartisan immigration negotiations have been the hopes and dreams of many Americans now for decades. It's not a new thing suddenly with President Biden in charge.
As I said, we are following breaking news out of Nevada. Police at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas are responding to reports of an active shooter on campus. They say there are multiple victims at this time. We do not have exclusive rights to mental health issues in this country. Every other place in the world has people who are having mental health crises. Every single other place. There's no other place that has shootings like this in such frequency and on such a scale. You got the unlucky privilege of viewing one of these videos. Tell us what you saw.
Katy, this is some of the most difficult footage that I've ever seen. Of those 46 minutes, the worst 2.5 of them were a sequence inside a kibbutz. You see an Israeli father and his 2 little sons. They're in their underwear. They run out of their house in the early hours of the morning to a bomb shelter. A Hamas terrorist follows them into the shelter, throws a grenade. The grenade blast kills the father. It wounds the 2 little boys. And they carry each other basically back inside the house. The whole time, there is a Hamas terrorist who's standing over them, and he opens the fridge and he takes out a bottle of Coke and he drinks from it. And so as the death toll is spiraling in Gaza, as we are seeing such horrific images coming out of the Gaza Strip, the Israeli military is trying to remind the world about the massacre that sparked this war. And that's part of the reason they're putting this footage out today. Katy.
I'm not quite sure what to say to that. Raf, thank you. Joining us now from Doha is NBC News Chief International Correspondent Keir Simmons. Keir, what are the Qataris doing to help release the hostages?
Ladies, we're going to watch this TikTok as it unfolds. It's obviously a historic day, but what it also is a question about what's going to happen in the coming months, the coming year and change before the next presidential election, and what this is going to mean. Obviously, Donald Trump and his team are saying this is good for them, and so far it has been good in the short term in terms of fundraising. But will it be good for them when it is the general election? If Donald Trump is the nominee, will he gain votes from this? And we have to look back at the evidence that we built over the last 6 years. 2018, 2020, 2022, each of those elections proved that Trump-style politics and Donald Trump himself have not been popular with voters. Does this gain him more voters? Does an indictment gain him more voters? One of the things that I think is striking about what we're seeing here is that Donald Trump on the campaign trail really went after Hillary Clinton for her emails and was trying to knock her down on national security, saying that she was a threat to this country. And he even said in a 2016 campaign rally that if he were president, he would do everything he could to protect classified information. It kind of paints a picture of Donald Trump as somebody who believes that he's above all that. I mean, I'm going to protect classified information because whatever I do is enough. Whatever I decide is the right decision.
So to do
the indictment has been unsealed. We're just being told, so we're waiting to get that information, and we'll get the details for you in a second. Sorry to interrupt.
Our legal leaders are going to
Tell
stand
me
by and help us walk
exactly
through it.
the key things you're looking for in this indictment once we actually physically get it.
I have it in front of me. You want me to read a little bit from it? Among the materials Trump stored in the boxes were hundreds of classified documents. The classified documents Trump stored in his boxes included information regarding defense and weapons capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities of the United States and its allies to military attack. Wow. And plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack. The unauthorized disclosure of these classified documents could put at risk the national security of the United States. They were pretty clear in the beginning that this is not just he had the documents. He has the documents and he showed them to people. And oh, by the way, they could put us at risk. They show our vulnerabilities. They could put our alliances at risk.
And they're national defense information and classified. Meaning it's very bold.
Let me ask you, in terms of the reporting that you're doing, this is surrounding what happened to women when Hamas stormed Israel on October 7th, the allegations of rape. This is a big criticism of the UN that they were not quick enough to condemn this, not quick enough to stand by women of Israel, given what they allege Hamas to have done. What can you tell us about the allegations? What sort of, when we talk about sexual crimes, I know it's graphic, but I do think it's important to be very clear-eyed about what these women say happened to them and what witnesses say they saw.
The vast majority of the evidence of sexual crimes is about mutilation in the genitals, so being shot in the vagina, being shot in the breast, being cut with a knife or scissors in the vagina. This has been described to me by first responders who found the bodies on October 7th. There's a great concern that the 20 female hostages are unfortunately being violated as we speak.
Anna Schechter, I know it's graphic and it's very difficult to hear, and it's not usually language that we use on air, but I think it's, again, important, and thank you for coming on and explaining it to us, no matter how difficult it is. Hala Garani, thank you as well, and Noga Tarnopolsky, we appreciate it. We'll be right back. Some of the first victims of Saturday's attack were young people at a music festival in the desert bordering the Gaza Strip. Officials say 260 people were slaughtered at that event, and an untold number were taken hostage. Joining us now is Natalia Kazarati. Her son was at the Supernova Music Festival. She has not heard from him since before the attack. Natalia, I'm so sorry.
And there is no more information.
What has the Israeli government done to reach out to you?
Nothing. I don't even think they know about my name and my son and about us.
I'm shocked by that. Really? Nothing? Your water broke. That's how you lost all that amniotic fluid. And even when your water broke, you were told that they can't help you yet, even after your water broke?
Yeah, so we actually went back and forth to the hospital, I think 3 times. We know that it was already difficult for me to get pregnant once, and it will medically be even more difficult for me to get pregnant again. So my fertility specialist has actually recommended that we go straight to IVF. And I'll share with you, we have attempted IVF and so far have been unsuccessful.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. And I hate getting into all the details, but I think they're important. You were left with scar tissue in your fallopian tubes. One of them couldn't be opened back up. Is that correct?
Right. So my uterus actually had so much scar tissue in it that when they tried to take images of it, it was so dense that they couldn't even visualize any of my anatomical structures because there was so much scar tissue. We are hoping that a court will more clearly define when a woman can receive an abortion and when it's a medical necessity. For me personally, it started as education because I think a lot of people in this country didn't understand what these restrictive laws truly meant and the full reach and impact that they were going to have and are having. I think we've already made some waves there, which is good. So now we're really hoping that, there will be other folks like me, not that there will be other folks like me, but other people who have been through something similar that perhaps seeing what we're doing will give them the courage to speak up and do something similar, because it's hard to be the very first one to do it.
Yeah.
But we're hoping that we can give a voice and maybe some courage to others.
And just to be clear, what happened to you was avoidable if you got the health care you needed when they said you needed it.
Yes, exactly.
Amanda Zarowski, thank you very much for coming on and telling us what is a very difficult story. We appreciate your strength and your bravery. You say it shouldn't happen to anyone. It happens to Black women more than anyone.
Absolutely.
Why does it happen to Black women more?
So we see it across the board. We are the worst of any industrialized nation. But the disparity among Black women is exactly why this investigation is so important.
And studies show it's not just, it is about race. It is about race. It's not class. It's not background. It is race. And Cedars-Sinai is a good hospital in Los Angeles. One of the best, if not the best. And joining me now is South Carolina Republican State Senator Sandy Senn. She was one of the 3 Republicans who blocked her state's near total abortion ban. Senator, thank you very much for being with us. I heard your words there a moment ago on the floor, and they were powerful. This is about control. It's about men saying that they can take care of women, or they should be in charge of taking care of women, I guess. Explain what they're thinking, what you believe they're thinking.
A lot of them, I think, honestly do believe that we need them. I mean, they said that. It's just a ridiculously oppressive bill.
So, your colleague also said, and we played this, women don't have sex just to get an abortion. And it feels like a lot of this debate, that's what these lawmakers who are pushing these laws are insinuating, that a woman is just loose and she's going out and she's promiscuous and she's doing all those things, and then she's going and showing up the next day at the abortion clinic or a few weeks later and just getting rid of it. Like it's no big deal,
Right.
that it happens all the time. The numbers obviously disprove that. But also, you talk about them having women in their lives who are pushing back. I wonder still, with all of the women in their lives pushing back and the numbers showing that it's a losing political issue, why this keeps getting pushed.
It's to pander to the base.